EFF purging members who challenged Julius Malema? What is behind the EFF's recent expulsions of its MPs? Will the EFF respect the court's decision if it reinstates the expelled MPs? And is the EFF now in bed with NUMSA? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Ramakatsa. Failure to attend this year's State of the Nation address, unilaterally holding press conferences, giving misleading information to the public, attacking the organization and bringing it into disrepute. These are just but a few of the reasons cited for the expulsion of Mpho Ramakatsa, Andile, Mngxitama and Khanyisile Litchfield-Tshabalala from the Economic Freedom Front, or rather Economic Freedom Fighters rather, excuse me. The fourth member of Parliament, Twala, was given a 3-year suspension, suspended for 1 year. This latest developments, including apparent squabbles and corruption allegations within the EFF's leadership, are likely to put a dent on the party's reputation. But is the EFF likely to emerge from these challenges unscathed? A reminder that this is a live program. You can air your views on the following numbers: 011 714 6841, 6842 or 6843. My guest in the studio, Advocate Dali Mpofu, is the EFF chairperson. Dali Mpofu, welcome to Question Time. Thank you for making time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tsedu.
And there you go. You expel 3 members of Parliament. And then Lucky was lucky. He wasn't expelled.
Yes, you could
Why?
say that. Well, let's start with the last part of your question. The reason why Mr. Twala was not expelled was explained in the ruling of the NDC. Firstly, because he, unlike the other 3, was not a leader of the EFF.
Okay.
He was not a member of the Central Committee. He did not himself. Remember that in an open session with the media, for example, Mr. Ramakatsa read out an organizational report which gave an account of how we got there. And he said everything was fine. We've had provincial conferences and so on and so on. So credentials are good. We can go ahead. Until such time that he was not elected into a position. Then suddenly the conference was illegitimate. So that was the distinction. The second one was that he, unlike the others, again, had never really attacked the organization in public, although he associated himself with one of the press statements. So those factors were taken into account because the intention is really not always just to punish. If there's any chance to redeem or rehabilitate a person, you mustn't wield the axe as so. Okay.
Yeah. But I must tell you, it's appearing as though there's a purge of those who have dared to raise their voice of dissent to what perhaps the leadership may have been thinking at the time, or even resolutions, I guess.
Yeah, well, it might appear like that until somebody actually applies their mind to actually what happened, which is, as you have just said, just tell me which organization that you know would tolerate somebody being employed who does not pitch up for work, as they did with the SONA, for example.
But they were assaulted.
Where were they assaulted? There was nobody was assaulted.
Andile was manhandled.
Well, manhandled. Yeah. Where? In Parliament?
No.
Okay. So that's the issue. And and we'll come back to that, but what I'm saying is that that's the first thing. You don't come to work, you still receive your salary. Even here, I'm sure, if anyone did that and did not even bring a doctor's certificate, at the very least, they'll face a disciplinary hearing. If they don't come to the disciplinary hearing, they're likely to be fired, which is what happened, which comes back to your issue. Let's say, for argument's sake, that Mngxitama did not go to Parliament because he was assaulted, whatever. Then what you do is you go to the disciplinary hearing and you say, the reason I did not come is because I was assaulted. Once you stay away, then it means the only evidence that is before the disciplinary committee will be that of the EFF. So that, I must confess, is one of the most inexplicable things. I don't know who advised them, but you know, in my book, what you do is to go to the disciplinary hearing and bring 100 witnesses, and the thing drags on for the next year or so, and maybe at some stage you'll get sympathy. But not to go there is simply either you don't have evidence to back up your claims, or you're just badly advised.
Now, they have taken the EFF to court, basically to say that you don't have the powers or the legitimacy to even try them. Actually, this current leadership has no basis to lead the party.
Yeah, I know that. But the issue is this. If the current leadership has no legitimacy, as they say, in their court papers, they don't say that we must hold another conference. So, in other words, that means the EFF doesn't exist as far as they're concerned, because the leadership must just go home, dissolve, and that's the end of it. Then why are they taking salaries for the past 4 months as EFF MPs? Which EFF? Because the EFF, according to them, doesn't exist. So the organization cannot exist for the sole purposes of providing them with salaries, which is really the logical conclusion of their argument. So that's obviously just an afterthought, and it's not going to fly.
Will you respect the outcome of the court?
Of course. The courts we respect.
Which may include that you reinstate them.
Absolutely. This is a constitutional democracy. They have a right to go and challenge the decision in court. If they succeed, we will reinstate them. Probably will first appeal. And that's another important point, Mpho, because let's say, for example, the case takes another 3 years with all the appeals and so on. What do they expect us to do in the meantime? To sit in Parliament with 21 MPs when the masses voted for 25 MPs. That obviously is untenable. Or to sit with 25 MPs, 4 of which do not believe that the organization's constitution is legitimate. Obviously, that can be. That's just nonsense. Yeah.
Now, have you considered what they said? Are they talking rubbish in all the statements and allegations that they've made?
Yes, that would be an understatement. But the point of the matter, from where I sit as the chairman of the NDC, it doesn't really matter. The point of the matter is that, and I say the best way to approach that question is to say, let's assume everything they say is true.
Yes.
There was fraud, there was corruption, wara, wara, wara. Let's assume that's all true. Then again, you must come and present it in the internal structures of the organization, such as the NDC. 1. 2, you don't then take this fraud and corruption to a rival political organization with Kenny Kunene and Gayton Mackenzie. You take it to the police. If you found that there was corruption here and you took it to ENCA, then your employers would think either you're out of your mind or you must be fired. That you don't do that, whether it's a sporting organization or whatever kind of organization. You don't then go to the competition to complain about your employer. Even a child, you don't have to be a lawyer or to understand that that kind of thing, at the minimum, will attract disciplinary action.
Is it not a fact that they are a threat to Julius Malema, Floyd Shibambu, and Dali Mpofu?
No, absolutely not. Actually, it's a pity. I honestly don't know what got into these people. Because, in organizations, you learn to be patient. One person, the late Dumisani Makhaya of the ANC, once said that in an organizational discipline means that you agree with about 70% of any organization you believe in. Organizational discipline is then to be able to defend the other 30% that you don't agree with. And so that is how it works. Nobody agrees, not even Julius Malema, I think, would agree with 100% of what is done, because it's a democratic organization. But what you do is you fight inside the organization. If what you disagree with is so much, it's higher than the 70%, then you leave and go to another organization or form another organization and so on. Okay. But you don't, that's why these things are called voluntary association. It means you yourself sitting at home, nobody putting a gun on your head, went to join. Yeah.
Hold the thought there. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your calls. This is a live program. Please don't go away.
In Africa, mobile devices are tools to make payments, browse the internet, and keep governments in check with social media forums.
It's given an average African too much power in their hands.
And tech creativity is solving some of the continent's problems.
Everything is internet driven.
And on Network, we tell you how Africans are using technology and social media in their everyday lives.
Join Siphumelele Zondi on Network every Sunday at 19:30 CAT.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Please get in touch. Our phone number 011-714-6841-42 or 43. This is a live program. If you've got questions or comments to Advocate Dali Mpofu, the EFF chairperson. Now, Advocate Mpofu, you, and by I mean the EFF, you just won a case in Cape Town where the chairperson of the NCOP had ruled that the EFF cannot say the ANC government has massacred people in Marikana. A victory for the EFF?
Well, another victory for the EFF. Look, I mean, if you follow what has happened in the past 10 months, you will see that we have exposed that the ANC does not have a clue about the rules of parliament or the constitution. This is the second case that we're winning. In December, you remember there were the so-called suspensions from Parliament. And we went to court and the court said, are these people out of their minds? It's laughable. How do they think that MPs are the employees of the ANC? So this is the second case again. You remember that this was the subject of the very first walkout of the EFF because they were forcing or trying to force Julius Malema to withdraw that statement. What the ANC doesn't understand, because it's been complacent in the past 20 years without any real opposition, is that freedom of expression is one of the key cornerstones of our constitution. But inside Parliament, it's even higher than it is. So, for example, there are certain things which I might not be able to say now sitting with you, but once you are in the parliamentary precinct, your freedom of expression is even higher. And for a new party that just came in at that stage for 3 or 4 weeks to be the one that had to teach them such a simple thing, when they've been sitting there sleeping for 20 years, should be seen as a disgrace, to say the least.
Okay. And what's the latest?
Well, the latest is that, you see, this is part of what we're going to do, Mpho, is in the next 5 years, South Africa must fasten their seatbelts. We're going to be fighting these people until they fall. We're going to fight them in the courts, we're going to fight them in Parliament, we're going to fight them in the streets and in the workplaces. And this is just the beginning. It's not even a year now of the 5 years. So this is what's going to happen. The pressure is on, it's happening. This is it.
Ngaki is in the Eastern Cape. Welcome to Question Time. Ngaki? We seem to have lost Ngaki there, but you can get in touch with us. This is a live program to air your views and perhaps ask questions to Advocate Mpofu. Our numbers 011-714-6841-42 or 43. But we were just talking earlier that there's some breaking news here.
Yes, well, fortunately, I looked at my phone during the break. I'm sure Question Time is not usually the place for breaking news, but I can tell you now that we've just received a letter from the Secretary of Parliament confirming that the 3 expelled members should no longer come to Parliament, that they must return everything, and that's it. That's the end of their short-lived career.
So, Khanyisile, Litchfield-Tshabalala, Andile, Mngxitama, and Mpho Ramakatsa,
Mr. and Miss, yes. They are now ordinary South Africans, no longer members of Parliament.
Okay. But they can still take Parliament,
the EFF. Well, that's a very good question.
To the court case.
That is a very, I should call you Advocate Tsedu. No, it's actually going to complicate their case, because right now, on Friday we're supposed to be answering the papers.
Yes.
And the first thing we're going to put in those papers is that these people are not members of the EFF. And so do they have a right to even come to court before we even deal with the merits? So what has just happened now, this breaking news, is going to make their life a little bit more difficult.
Okay. Sibongile, you are calling us from Cape Town. Oh, Sibongile is no longer there. So this is going to be quite an interesting period for the EFF, I guess. Perhaps let's leave that and look at some of the allegations that, as a party, you've been facing, right? This embezzlement of funds, people are being suspended. On the other hand, the CFO, there's Baloyi here and there, all over the picture. Are you saying that really there is no truth in all these allegations that people have been banditing?
I have two questions, rather answers for you. The first one is, I don't know. That's the whole point. If the three gentlemen and the lady had any evidence of this, then they should have come forward. And I've said this before. If they had come and shown that their allegations were valid, I would have been the first one to convince the National Disciplinary Committee to find them not guilty. So they did not come. As far as the workers are concerned, we have said that, again, look, we're a new organization, Mpho. We're not, if there are any problems with employees, so be it. Then they must be determined by the CCMA. The CCMA might find that we're right or wrong. We don't know. Remember, this is a young party that has grown even beyond our own expectations. It took the ANC 40 years, 40, to reach its first 100,000 members. It took us less than 4 months to reach the 100,000 members. So maybe the capacity problems here and there and so on, I don't know. So the question is, those things must then be taken to the correct forum, whether it's the Labour Court or the CCMA, and be determined there. But the mere making of allegations does not mean that suddenly we are ill-treating our workers and so on. So I think the Mr. Mngxitama, who has been making this point in particular, is just mischievous.
Roy is in Kempton Park.
Hi, Bo.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon.
I'm fine, man.
Yes.
I think Mr. Mpofu is not answering your question. Here we've got a CFO and your HR and their HR guy that advise their provinces that they cannot just terminate the contracts just like that. So he must answer on that specifically. Was there any contracts? Were they guys hired as contractors, as volunteers? He must answer that. But if he says now Labour will have to decide, he is not telling the truth. He is an advocate. He must tell us that those people were taken because they were hired by the party. Not to say now the Labour will have to decide. If you take me as a volunteer or as a contractor, it's understandable. But those workers and their HR is concerned, they were fully employed.
Okay.
Well, the gentleman seems to know more about what is happening in the EFF than I do. Congratulations to him. But the point of the matter is that I can't say, I don't even know the names of the people. I saw the thing in the city press. What I can tell him as a fact is that there are people who are employees who have contracts, and there are those who were taken in as volunteers. Okay. The ones who spoke to city press, whether they are in the group A or group B, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Either one, whether they're volunteers or contract workers, they have rights. They must go to the right forum, air their grievances. It will be determined.
But is it not ironic that the EFF, which is supposed to be the vanguard of the working class as well, is the one that would be trampling on the rights of its own workers?
No, but it's not. How do you know it's trampling? This is the point I'm making. once the CCMA finds that we've trampled, you can ask me that question.
Okay.
Then I'll answer it. But now, how do I answer you? Because I don't know whether they will win the cases or lose the cases.
Okay.
And there's no organization in this country that has never been taken to the CCMA.
Okay. I want to take a quick break. When we return, we've got a caller in Limpopo. Just hold it there.
Information-hungry viewers stay with SABC News, as issues on the West are different from issues on the East or here in Johannesburg. So it is not surprising that people who follow the news know that there are two things for sure: that anything can happen, and SABC News will tell you when it does. Because we keep the nation fully informed. We are SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is Advocate Dali Mpofu, who is the EFF chairperson. Shoti is in Limpopo.
Good evening, Mpho. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
Good, man. And also good evening to our chairperson, Dali Mpofu.
Okay. Good evening, Shoti.
Good evening. We as EFF, we welcome the decision taken by the party, because it will serve a deterrent to other members of the organization that we must abide by the rules and the policies of the organization.
Okay.
And respect the party leaders, and not go outside and naming the party, saying bad things about that can destroy our party. And also compliment to the members of Parliament. We are saying that they are representing us very well.
Okay.
They are showing the ANC that what democracy is. Some of the ANC MPs are taking advantage of their number in the Parliament. They are not abiding by the rules of the Parliament.
Okay.
And congratulations to them. And then we will continue voting for them, because we believe in them. That very
All
well.
right. Thank you, Shoti. Well, Shoti seems to obviously agree with what...
Well, but what Shoti is saying is very important, because what we have done, as it is explained, we don't do it only for the interests of the ANC, of the EFF that Shoti is talking about, but it is the voters.
Okay.
Because whether those voters are for the ANC or the IFP and so on, they have voted for the party to choose its representatives. And our system of proportional representation says that you represent the party. So you can't disrespect the party, because you're not voted there as Mpho or Dali Mpofu. And so the 1.2 million voters who put these people in Parliament are what is really our main concern.
Now, let's quickly deal with this one. Are you now in bed with NUMSA?
Well, yes and no. We are in bed in the sense that we are all on the left, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
We both agree that, for example, the NDP is a sellout document. We both agree that the NDP is incompatible with the Freedom Charter. We both agree that the ANC has sold out to capital, and their role now is to be the bodyguards of capital and colonialism.
Okay.
I mean, which is demonstrated now. They're actually guarding the statues of Jan van Riebeeck. So that is what we agree on. But as far as the formal written thing is concerned, no.
Okay.
But one can rule out working together in the future.
Okay. Piladi is in Pretoria. Welcome, Piladi.
Good afternoon, Mpho. I just want to comment on the show.
Yes.
In actual fact, I'll just be very short. Please, we ask Dali Mpofu,
Yes.
and the team, because we don't know much about politics. Let them help the foreigners that are being banned. After they've resolved everything, we don't want to see people burning in their shops. Please, we need a party which will know how to handle these people. We are frustrated. Thank you, Mpho.
Thank you very much, Piladi. I think perhaps, let's just round out the program by dealing with this particular issue of xenophobic attacks.
Yes. Look, Mpho, it's a very sad situation. Our Central Committee over the weekend took a very firm stand. A statement is going to be released and we're going to be intervening insofar as we can. We think that it's very wrong. There's simply no excuse for what is happening. But it's a result of the failed immigration policies of this government. And it's a frustration of our people. At the base of this are economic issues. It's not of people hate this one or that one, but it is desperation. And people will use any outlet. I was saying to someone outside there, if someone is hungry and even a dog eats their food, they will probably kill it. Yeah, because our people are desperate, and that is what needs to be addressed. We know that our people, the culture of Ubuntu is obviously not related to what is happening. But it's a sad situation, and the EFF is in no uncertain terms and without making an excuse is going to do what it can, obviously within the parameters of what is allowed, to assist in stopping the scourge. We already condemned it when it happened in Mohlakeng, and we went directly there to talk to the people, and they seemed to agree with us. It stopped there.
Okay, thanks very much, Advocate Mpofu. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. That was question time for today. A big thank you to our guest and to you for watching the show. We welcome your feedback. Our email address is questiontime@sabc.co.za, or you can tweet us. Our Twitter handle is @questiontime24. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.